Vision 2030 speaks to the Jamaican people being at the heart of the country's development. To achieve this objective, the government has identified a number of social inclusion and protection measures which will ensure that people are able to make economically viable choices. Additionally, these measures provide vital support to the poor and vulnerable members of the society. Good day, I'm Audrey Williams. On the magazine today, we look at the Disabilities Act as a key component for the government's social inclusion and protection strategy. Also, rediscovering Jamaica in No Passport Required, Experience Jamaica. We have all this and more coming up. Stay tuned. Jamaica Magazine continues after the news.
Some water with you, please.
Water gone.
But me need water for cook. So how me go wash?
Let's weather the drought. Start conservation measures today. Check for leaks around your house. Opt for shorter showers over long baths. Reuse water to water plants and lawn. Watch the amount of water you and your family use. Try cooking methods that don't require much water. And if you have a vehicle, avoid washing it regularly. Remember, water is as important as the air we breathe. So conserve our water, conserve our life.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 13. There has been a 13% improvement in CSEC math scores this year, one of 14 subjects that reflected improved performance by students. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites revealed the 2014 results on Tuesday, announcing that subjects such as physics and English language also recorded good results. Minister Thwaites said the improved math performance was due to a number of factors, including the revision of the CSEC curriculum, a targeted approach to help schools weaken the subject, and conducting math leadership workshops for staff.
Long way to go, but a very good and encouraging stage to have reached. It shows us what can be achieved if we are focused and if we are dedicated to making the changes.
Meanwhile, National Mathematics Coordinator Dr. Tamika Benjamin said the ministry had a number of initiatives in place to ensure continued improvement in the subject.
In addition to the deployment of the coaches and some math resource teachers, we want to provide access to an online program that's targeting content knowledge. So teachers at their own pace will be able to go through the content that would have been a part of whether the primary or the secondary curriculum.
Results for both the CSEC and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations CAPE were made available to students Tuesday night on the Caribbean Examination Council's CXE website and were sent to schools Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry is assuring teachers that they will be paid the retroactive amounts due to them at the end of August. The Portfolio Minister says this pertains specifically to the 75% of the teaching workforce who are normally paid by government. The other 25% are paid indirectly through bursa-paid schools.
I wish to state clearly that the arrears that are owing to the directly government-paid teachers will be paid on time. In respect of the remainder who are paid through the bursa-paid schools, the auditors are in contact with the bursa-paid schools.
Meanwhile, Minister Thwaites has also responded to claims that teachers will not be granted their leave entitlements this year.
And I wish to state clearly that the leave that has been authorized by the Ministry of Education is entirely within the letter and spirit of the Education Code 1980. We, Ministry of Education, does not intend to deprive any teacher of the leave that they are entitled to.
A team from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has started their assessment of Jamaica's performance under the Extended Fund Facility after arriving in the island Wednesday. The IMF mission, led by Yankees Martin, will be in the island until August 22 and are meeting with Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and other senior government officials. The team is seeking to determine if Jamaica met all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks under the program for the April to June quarter. Minister Phillips told Parliament last month that based on the government's assessment, all the criteria for the June quarter were met. After passing the fourth IMF test in June, Jamaica received $70.9 million, bringing total disbursements to $414.4 million. National Security Minister Peter Bunting is to receive a report from the Acting Police Commissioner by next Monday on new arrangements for the care and protection of persons in police custody. Stacey Ann Smith has the details.
A directive was given last week to Acting Police Commissioner Glenmore Hines to conduct a comprehensive review of all procedures and arrangements governing detentions. It follows the death of 31-year-old Mario Dean, an inmate at the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James, who died on August 6 at the Cornwall Regional Hospital after being injured reportedly by his cellmates. Dean was in custody for possession of a small quantity of marijuana. Inmates have already been arrested in connection with his death. And 6 police officers who were on duty at the time of the incident have been interdicted or suspended with immediate effect, even as investigations continue. Government says it's committed to making the necessary policy and legislative changes to avoid the recurrence of such a tragedy. Stacey Ann Smith reporting for JIS News.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force will be applying new guidelines to persons charged with minor offences such as possession of small quantities of ganja. The Ministry of National Security says where a justice of the peace is available, the police will issue a summons to the offender as opposed to arresting and detaining that individual. If a justice of the peace is not available or if the offender is unable to provide identification or be identified, he or she may be taken to a police station until they can be identified. Once this is done, they will be granted bail. However, in exceptional cases where the offender is being investigated for other serious offences, he or she may be given bail with conditions or be remanded in custody. The new guidelines to deal with persons charged with minor offences follows a memorandum on the matter from the Attorney General's chambers. And finally, the police are urging motorists not to drive in the escape lanes on the Linstead to Monique leg of the North-South Highway. This will result in delays as the escape lanes are covered with gravel to slow the speed of vehicles in emergency cases. Deputy Superintendent in charge of the Linstead Police Division, Dwayne Wellington, says the escape lanes are to be used only by vehicles experiencing mechanical problems and other emergencies. The Mount Rossa bypass, which was officially opened to the public on August 5, has significantly reduced travel time from Treadways in St. Catherine to Monique in St. Anne. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
The Ministry of Education is informing parents that students in grades 1 to 3 are now required to purchase only 2 textbooks, one in language arts and one in mathematics. Those in grades 4 to 6 need only buy a total of 4 books: language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. At the secondary level, students in grades 7 and 8 require 3 supplementary textbooks in literature, while grade 9 students need 5.
Take the book list to our regional offices or our central offices. Let us look at those book lists and let us see if they meet the guidelines.
For further information on the new textbook policy, contact the Ministry of Education at 922-140029.
Through strategic priority number 5, social inclusion and protection, actions are being taken to improve the integration of the vulnerable in society. In the next feature, we learn how the Disabilities Act will make this a reality.
Effective social inclusion and protection continues to be a strategic priority on government's list for the 2014-2015 financial year, providing adequate social protection for all, including the vulnerable, so that Jamaicans are able to take care of and provide for themselves and their families. To help fulfill that priority, there is a need for legislation to protect a particular group of persons.
A national disabilities bill to provide for further protection and legal entrenchment of the rights of persons with disabilities.
3 months later, the groundbreaking legislation was passed in the House of Representatives to improve the lives of persons with disabilities in Jamaica. The National Disabilities Act has its roots in the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities, which was created in the year 2000. Access to education, employment, health services, housing and transportation were just some of the goals of the policy. 14 years later, after a series of consultations, aspects of the policy were enshrined in law in the National Disabilities Act. The Act defines a person with a disability as one who has a long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment which may hinder full and effective participation in society on an equal basis with other persons. To ensure that persons in that category are fully included in the affairs of the country, the National Disabilities Act reinforces that a person who is visually impaired, for example, has the same fundamental rights as any other Jamaican. Another objective is to ensure that the disabled community can effectively participate in activities on an equal basis with others.
Prevent or prohibit discrimination against a person with a disability. This is to promote respect for differences and acceptance of persons with disabilities as part of the human diversity and humanity.
Under the Act, the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, the JCPD, which is now a department within the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, will become a corporation.
The function of the JCPD includes advising the Minister on matters pertaining to persons with disabilities and on current trends, policies and programs concerning persons with disabilities, monitoring the operation of such trends, and conducting public education programs in relation to the Act.
The JCPD will also be responsible for registering all members of the disabled community in a national database so as to account and plan for them. The entity will also report to a management board consisting of no less than 7 persons who are deaf, blind, and visually impaired or physically disabled. As government acts on strategic priority number 5 by passing the National Disabilities Act, it is ensuring that Jamaicans with disabilities have equal access to opportunities. Things like education and training, employment, political office and public life, healthcare, housing and transportation.
This will create an enabling environment where persons with disabilities can integrate into and participate in all aspects of society.
As it relates to education and training, the law clearly states that a disabled person will be able to attend a school of their choice. The institution is also required to support the disabled person by making reasonable arrangements to facilitate their education. Similarly, qualified persons with disabilities should not be denied the chance to work in an organization, but should be treated like any other candidate. And in the event that one becomes disabled on or off the job,
that employer should be required and seek to redeploy that employee to another position. But this new position should be commensurate with the current skills and abilities of the employee, and the employee should not suffer a loss of remuneration or benefits in the process.
However, if the employer cannot move that employee to another position, the employer can indicate accordingly. Likewise, to ensure the protection of the disabled community, it is now mandatory for them to have equal access to general healthcare services, including screening, treatment, and early detection. This access is also applicable to housing and commercial premises, as the owner of an existing building should make adjustments to the property, if feasible, to facilitate disabled persons. Protection is also guaranteed if and when disabled persons plan to buy property.
This prohibition against discrimination includes offering different terms and conditions to the persons with a disability and refusing to dispose of the premises to the persons. Additionally, a person who manages a premises or facility is not permitted to discriminate against a person with a disability.
And when it comes to public transportation, as far as possible, public passenger vehicles should be equipped to facilitate passengers with disabilities.
Public passenger vehicles include motor vehicles or any other conveyance or transport by road, rail, air, or water that provides the general public with a general or special transportation service on a regular or continuing basis.
And there are harsh penalties for those who breach the Disabilities Act. For example, if an individual gives false information to the JCPD or an authorized person, they face a fine not exceeding $1 million. A similar penalty applies for corporate bodies that breach the Act. And where complaints need to be ventilated, a tribunal to be established will settle the dispute. The government of Jamaica, acting on strategic priority number 5, effective social inclusion and protection, improving the lives of Jamaicans with disabilities by enacting legislation so they will have equal access to opportunities.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
In creating effective social protection systems, we need to shield our children at all times, even with regards to how we address conflicts. Let's learn how we can better practice conflict management.
What sound does a long A make?
Disagreements and arguments are common features of human interaction. That's why it isn't uncommon to find that conflicts pop up from time to time when parenting a child. But as with the old saying, when elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. Children are impacted when their parents have disputes. However, there are things you can do to limit the impact of conflict on our children.
The first duty, I think, is that the parent should try not to harm the child as collateral damage. Because I think in a lot of situations, the parent doesn't intend to harm the child, but is either so emotionally engaged in the issue at hand or is so unaware that they may say or do things that are not suitable for the children to be involved in. We have had situations where a parent may have gone to school and made a comment about a child, like you're the worst picnic the Lord ever make. But then the child now gets teased by every other child in their class. They get disrespected by the people there. So I think a lot of times when we're expressing, we're not thinking about the effects. So I think awareness is the first thing I would say to parents. Second thing I'm saying to parents, the world is not really judging you every day for you to pass or fail a test in parenting. Most people empathize with the fact that parenting is a complicated job for which most of us are not equipped. So be gentle on yourself, and by being gentle on yourself, then maybe you would find more space to be more accommodating of the children. It's important to practice what we preach, because we will lose the respect and confidence of our children, because they come to us respectful, and they come to us having confidence in us. But we can lose that by the way we handle situations as well as the way we handle them. I think it's a commitment to, create loving families, handle stresses by going to professionals to assist, take issues that the children are not involved in into a space where they don't have to hear and see all of the conduct that's really not appropriate for them.
So parents, try your best to maintain an atmosphere of love and compassion within the home. Even if there are problems, resolve them peacefully. Do not take out your frustration on the children. And whatever the situation, let them know that mommy and daddy will have differences, but both of you will always be there to support them. Remember, children's care and protection are FIWI mission.
What sound does a long A make? A, A, A. What sound does a long A make? A,
Jamaicans are a resourceful people, and this resourcefulness has become a defining characteristic, especially during these challenging economic times. Let's look at 5 things we can do to become more self-reliant. Number 1, learn to better manage your money. This includes implementing a debt strategy plan, using cash instead of credit, and sticking to your monthly budget. Maintain your health. Aim to eat a healthy diet and exercise as often as possible. This will ensure that you remain independent of prescription medication and of having that twice-weekly appointment with your doctor. Number 3, take responsibility. If you have a goal, it's your decision and subsequent actions which will determine success. To achieve success, you may be required to engage in activities that are often boring, tedious, frustrating, and time-consuming. You'll be required to make difficult decisions and to accept the consequences, even if they're unfavorable. Number 4, stay informed. Take time to do your own research. Take advantage of every opportunity to learn and expand your knowledge and skills. And finally, you should have a sense of direction. You should have set goals and a blueprint for how those goals will be achieved. Do not become distracted. While these steps can assist you in building an independent lifestyle, asking for help will not affect your confidence, but will better equip you to meet your objectives.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act.
Choose the best option and do something about it.
Review.
Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
This destination offers you a complete package: delectable cuisine, adventure, timeless sunsets, cascading waterfalls, and so much more. Where am I talking about? The place we call home. Let's take a trip, and hey, guess what? No passport required.
Exclusively for Jamaicans. High-end hotels for under $200 per night. Attractions on the north, south, and west coast. Ground transportation for an easy vacation travel. From Negril to Morant Point, experience Jamaica at great deals.
There are so many persons who choose to come to Jamaica over everything else. Why leave? Why want to leave? And we can get better, from my experience, we can get better value as a Jamaican.
Sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, we not left ya. Love me yucky and my saltfish, we not left ya. Chop ya man banana, we not left ya. I'm a big flower dumpling, we not left ya.
The Jamaica Tourist Board is encouraging Jamaicans to vacation at home, and with a sweet encouragement.
Everybody can get a percentage off for their vacation if they stay right here in Jamaica. So they get between 10 and 50% off.
The promotion applies to all Jamaicans, even those living in the diaspora. International residents working here, such as members of the Diplomatic Corps, can also enjoy these sweet deals.
You can have your vacation in Kingston, Port Antonio, South Coast, Ocho Rios, Negril, Montego Bay.
Some 40 hotels, more than 10 attractions, travel agencies, air and ground transportation entities are offering great discounts to Jamaicans under the Jamaica Experience banner.
Ooh, I met a girl this morning. She was love at first sight.
Dozens of Jamaicans have already used the Experience Jamaica brand and gained major discounts at 5-star hotels and all-inclusive resorts. Meet the Bars. They just got back from their 10th anniversary vacay at Rio Ocho Rios.
It was about 78,000 and we got it at 53. So you're talking about roughly 27,000 thereabout in terms of a discount, and for the same time period, and a time period that we wanted. So that is a discount that we felt in our pockets because we could actually now put other cash in other resources.
The room was like fully loaded. I mean, it had its own bar, its own fridge, its own jacuzzi bath. I mean, no, I'm like...
A bar filled with all the
fridge
amenities.
had drink in there. And I was like shocked. I was like, are you serious?
They took excellent care of us as Jamaicans. And that for me was phenomenal. They gave us our own check-in line, our own checkout line. We would encourage every Jamaican to spend time within their country.
Most times persons would want to go abroad because they see the promotion, but we'd be surprised to know because we really have some really interesting places here that I would encourage Jamaicans to really take time out to get to know the country and the attractions that we have.
Jamaica, the land of beauty.
Another experienced Jamaica vacationer is bubbling with excitement at every memory of her great stay at Jamaica Grand.
As soon as I say I'm a Jamaican, they will say, okay. They will disregard the US amount and tell me Jamaican and actually give me a discount. And will say to me, this is not the usual rate, but because you're a Jamaican, I will give you at this rate. It would have been, when I checked it out, because their pass rate was like 400 and something. It worked out to be 150 per night. And I was getting like oceanfront view, 150 per night. So I was like, can I get 2 nights, please? The rooms were impeccable, the ambience, the customer service. You'd think that they would choose or they would treat us differently or treat me differently. They didn't. They were attentive. They were like, can I get you this? Do you want this? Can I take this for you? That is over there. That is over there. Do you need anything else? Like, you are the queen.
You too can have your own getaway at reduced rates. The JTB has it all worked out for you. Call one of the tour operators signed up on the Experience Jamaica initiative, Go Jamaica Travel, Leisure for Pleasure, or Tourwise Limited, and they will ascertain which hotels have the accommodation for the dates you wish to vacation. Or, if you so desire, you may book directly with a hotel. The Experience Jamaica promotion runs from April to December 15.
The fact that they took the time and set up this program, it made me feel good. And it should make all of us feel good as Jamaicans. We are able to explore and experience something that is not usually readily available to us. And at a discounted rate where our money is tight, we are going by a budget. It's very important.
We're saying eat Jamaica, taste Jamaica, love Jamaica, drink Jamaica, walk Jamaica, just chill Jamaica, and enjoy this incredible vacation value, which is for you.
If we had the money, we'd go back this week. And that is serious.
For more information on the Experience Jamaica promotion, call 929-9200 or click on visitjamaica.com/Experience Jamaica.
Jamaica, the land of beauty, loved by many tourists, yes. And if you never know the history, it's a pretty paradise in the West. People love off with culture.
That's it for this episode of Jamaica Magazine. I hope you found a reason to vacation at home this summer. Visit our Facebook or Twitter pages and share with us your favorite Jamaican hideaway. You can also find us on the web or on our YouTube channel. I'm Audrey Williams. Remember, in the words of Theodore Roosevelt, in any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.